Hey guys, welcome back to the Whiskey Whisperers. I'm Nick.
I'm Kevin.
And this is episode 3 of the Whiskey Whisperers.
You can just cut that one out.
Yeah. So today we are trying the Belvois whiskey from France. It is a non-peated, triple distilled blend of 3 single malts from different regions of France: Brittany, Alsace, and Cognac. Aged in new oak barrels in the Cognac region for 3 to 8 years, complex and aromatic. Hints of banana, cocoa butter with caramelized vanilla. We found this at Total Wine when we went shopping there last week. Highly recommend Total Wine if you have one nearby. And it was sort of hiding behind another bottle, and we decided to jump on it because it looked fancy and it was not particularly expensive.
And when I looked at it, I'm like, well, you know, it's something new and different, and so we always like to try new and different things. I think the other brand that we looked at was an Indian whiskey I mentioned in episode 2. That was very interesting to read about, and I think that might be something in the near future we try. So
without further ado, let's get to it.
Sweet. So do you really think there's going to have a lot of caramelized stuff to it?
I didn't read too much into the reviews online. I'm just going by the word of the distillery themselves.
Sure.
It does have a very translucent caramel color.
Mm-hmm.
There are some whiskeys that for sure have a more cloudy look to them, and it falls somewhere between being light and dark.
Yeah.
So
it's almost kind of got a nice honey colorization
honey.
to it. Yep.
It smells good, but it does smell a little harsh to me. It smells more of alcohol than, not to a point that it's burning your nose, but it just has a very alcoholic smell to it.
Which is interesting because it's only 40% per volume.
Right.
So it's really
which
not
is
that,
the average basically for whiskey.
Which is not very much.
But yeah, triple malt. So
yeah.
If you're a beer drinker, I'm sure you know a little bit about malt.
Yep.
We like to taste with a hint of water to cut the spirit down just a little bit. It helps us pick up on flavors easier. Helps me get a more clear picture of what I'm tasting.
And as you can see, it's not very much water at all. It's just enough to cut.
Just a hint.
Just to cut it just enough to where you can start really picking up the flavors and stuff. So.
Yeah. It's very light, very yellow.
Mm-hmm. This does have a little bit of an oily, buttery residue to it, if you will. I noticed a little bit of it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know we cut it up with just a little bit of water, so it kind of changes a little bit of the color from what you see in the bottle. But from here, you can see it's just that gold.
It's very light in color.
Yeah, which is interesting because after smelling it from the bottle, now I can smell it from here, what you picked up, that it's a little bit of a harsh front nose to it. But I'm picking up the wood, the oak smell to it, and a hint of sweetness.
Hint of sweetness for sure. Definitely wood. And I think maybe it's because of the wood that I'm getting that sort of harshness in my nose.
Well, especially if it was cast 3 different times.
Yeah, 3 different barrels,
areas,
3 different regions. All right, well.
All right. Cheers. It's definitely, I feel like it's smooth. It has a little bit of a peppery feeling on the way down. Up front, what I'm picking up is a lot of oak woodiness to it.
Yeah.
Kind of like what you smell up front. In the mouth part of it, I'm picking up a little bit of sweetness and some, I don't know, some grain aspects to it. It's very subtle, but this isn't harsh at all.
It's very distinctive in its flavor, which I'm not so sure that's a good thing in this case. It's got a subtle profile. Sort of reminds me of the scent you'd get if you bought like an oatmeal soap bar.
So that malt.
That subtle, malty grain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which to be expected, I mean, being triple malt,
Yeah.
you're really picking up on those with that that French oak.
I don't think it's been aged quite as long as other whiskeys that we're used to. So some of that transfer of flavor is just different.
It's almost like a very young whiskey. I think this might be better if it was aged maybe a couple more years. Might have more body to it. And I know that Belvois actually has 3 to 4 other types of their whiskeys that have been aged at different stages. So, and have different profiles. So for this one, this is the Belvois Blue is what they call it. And that's the one we're trying. And so I think this might be the youngest of them. So
I think on a scale of 1 to 5, I would give it a 2.5. Not my cup of tea, just as far as the flavors that are there. It's almost got a cologne-ness to it, almost a perfuminess.
Yeah, and actually I think I'm gonna have to, on a scale of 1 to 5, I think I'm gonna have to give it a 2.5 as well. I totally agree with Nick here, with it being kind of a little bit of perfumey aftertaste, and with that really oaky barrel taste. On the other end of it, it is an enjoyable sippable whiskey. So if you're trying whiskeys and for the first time, this would be a good one to try, that it's not harsh and it's pretty mellow. But for us, I think it's.
I think we just have different preferences, and maybe be on the lookout for their other whiskeys just to compare.
Yep, and each one of them has different profiles in how they cut the whiskey and where they barreled it in the ages. So for this one, again, I think it's enjoyable as far as easy sipping whiskey, but it's kind of mediocre. Is what I find.
I agree.
If you guys want to hit that like and share button and subscribe button, that'd be awesome. And if you have any questions or anything that you want to add to our channel, please comment below, and we will see you next week.
Thanks,
Take
guys.
care from the Whiskey Whisperers.
Take care.